So picking up from the end of the previous chapter, it's nonchalantly revealed that the hero team here had survived that mansion explosion, and it just adds to the streak of false deaths that we've been having in the last like 7 chapters or something. And I've expressed my criticisms about this plenty of times, so I'll just say, you know, maybe pull it back a little, but also at the same time, I understand that this could be Horikoshi setting up a false sense of security, meaning that like the next false death won't be false. And I'll get into that because I think we see something in this chapter being set up that might be pretty significant. But anyway, the hero team is talking inside of like this warehouse or something, and they're discussing, you know, everything that's going on right now. But then Hawks gets a text from All Might, and it says that they made contact with a second assassin, but Izuku took him out like instantly. And once we cut over to Izuku, we see him have like this dark, brooding kind of aesthetic to him. I mean, he's progressively become more and more disheveled and more, I'll say, Stain-like since he's been reintroduced in like, I think it was chapter 306. But this chapter is certainly showing him to be the most menacing that he's been so far. So after Izuku takes this guy out, he just darts away, you know, on to the next one. And All Might's continuing to be like a close parental figure to him, saying like, you know, like, be careful. And, hey, wait, you haven't eaten it all. And he gives him like another bento. And Izuku's straight up just like, you know, you don't have to follow me around anymore. I'm fine on my own now. And as he's saying this, he's remembering like 2 things. All for One in the previous chapter, like pointing at him saying that like, you're next. And he's also remembering the conversation that he had with All Might where he found out that he was basically destined to die, at least according to Night Eye's vision. And then we see the classic dialogue from that scene where it says, if you keep going like this, you will head towards a gruesome demise, one so terrible that it cannot even be put into words. So that's important because I think it's also going to lead into what I was talking about before with false deaths maybe not being so false anymore. And then going further, Izuku's like, I could do it already. I could move at 100% without sustaining any damage just like you could. Now that's a pretty bold statement, and I don't know if that is 100% factual or if it's Izuku kind of just saying that to make All Might maybe feel better about him not monitoring him, because Izuku was kind of just at like 45% not too long ago, right? You know, 45 along with Fa-Jin, which makes the pseudo 100%. So is he talking about pseudo 100% here? Or is he literally talking about just using like 100%, you know, how we've seen him use throughout the series, like when he damages himself? I figured that maybe him going through that plateau would have had more significance on it, or just more attention brought to it. Maybe like a chapter where he discovers it, or maybe like a stretch of chapters where he's like training it and then finally perfects it. But no, just off panel, he's developed the ability to just use 100% without taking damage anymore. Not really sure, but I guess time will tell. But then Izuku's like, don't worry about me, and he jets off, and All Might's like, I swore to protect you, but I know the weight of the responsibility you're carrying. I should have said, don't push yourself too hard. It's okay to take a break. And then like All Might falls over. But then we're getting the huge twist of this chapter because it appears that behind the wall or wherever they are right now, Stain is there, and he was listening to Izuku talking to All Might. And he has like a different costume in this chapter. He's actually pretty drippy. But this has me super excited because first of all, Stain is back, but also now it seems like he's going to finally meet All Might, but also it's like clearly showing us that All Might is alone right now and Stain is there. So I don't think Stain is just gonna walk away. I think he's gonna come from behind the wall and be like, hey, All Might. And then I'm just so excited to see what they have to talk about. But it seems like this might lead to All Might's death. Like, I think Stain might be the one who kills All Might. Because what I was talking about with like all of the false deaths and the false sense of security, but also the fact that the prophecy was brought up again in this chapter, you know, the gruesome death can't be put into words. And now that they are seemingly alone, I guess this is gonna be it, right? Now, why would Stain kill All Might? Not really sure, because Stain was kind of like in love with All Might, and if anything, he wanted All Might to kill him. But also at that time, All Might's true form, or his, you skinny form, wasn't known to the public yet. So there was no way that Stain could have known what was going on with All Might. And as far as I know, this is the first time that Stain is aware that All Might is, what he is. So it's possible that Stain might not see All Might as like the All Might that he used to see anymore. And maybe he thinks that killing him is like a good idea or something. Stain is insane, so he'll have some kind of weird rationale to his decisions. But it just really seems like this might be the end of All Might at the hands of Stain, which is certainly a twist. I guess we all assumed it would have been Shigaraki or All for One at this point. And another thing that may make this darker and sadder than it already is like we're having the falling out between All Might and Izuku. It's possible that like All Might dies and Izuku never has like a chance to say sorry or patch up their relationship because like he left him here and seemingly he's going to die. And I didn't talk about it in my spoilers video yesterday because I realized it after the fact, but it's possible that Izuku doesn't realize All Might is dead until he sees him in the vestige world, because that's something I forgot, that there's like a portion of All Might's soul in the vestige world. And it's possible that like once Izuku goes back there, he sees like fully vestige All Might and he's like, oh no, you're dead. And then that's like a huge sad moment. And maybe that snaps Izuku out of like the subtle, dark, manic state that he's in right now, or it sends him deeper into it. But let's get into that because we're coming to the end of the chapter. Or I guess we're hearing like random people talking about Izuku, saying that like they say he appears without making a sound. I heard he has multiple quirks. Isn't that All for One's ability? Is he a gnome or something? But apparently he's here to help. I've heard he's covered in scars, blood, and mud. He doesn't look anything like a hero, and we see Izuku and he looks like a straight up monster here. This is the most menacing he's ever been. And he looks even more reminiscent to Stain now than he did originally. That's something that I guess a lot of us caught onto at first, like back in chapter 306 when we saw the new Izuku. It was like, oh, he kind of looks like Stain. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Stain is also showing up in this chapter, probably showing us there are parallels between these two characters. Obviously, Izuku isn't insane the way that Stain is, but the similarities are obviously there. Now, does this mean that Izuku is like evil? No, not really. He's just kind of become like no nonsense, I guess, at this point. And he's not like the gleeful, chipper Izuku that we've known just a couple chapters ago. It's just All for One, the lack of sleep, the constant stress. It's all, getting to Izuku and making him change into what he is now. Although I guess he's always kind of been this person. He's just needed the outlet to advance to this. And that's it for this chapter, but I am so looking forward to the next one because hopefully we're gonna have that Stain and All Might meeting. And if that does happen, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Stain is going to kill All Might, or what's going on with that? Let me know. And do you think Izuku is going deeper and deeper into a dark path? But if you like the video, guys, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.